Hello and welcome back to your quilting journey. Today we're going to talk about different kinds of thread you can use. So there's so many different kinds of thread. Sometimes it can get overwhelming knowing what kind of thread your machine is going to like and what you're going to like and what your project needs to stay together and last a long time. So let's talk about the different kinds of thread. There is your everyday all-purpose Coats & Clark thread that you can buy at any box store. It's a great thread to get started with. It's inexpensive and it works for the most part on every kind of project. The problem I have found with Coats & Clark is it does have a lot of lint built up. So if you're using this, just make sure to clean out your bobbin case regularly. So the kind that I prefer to use now is Aurifil thread. It's made in Italy. It's really nice. It lasts a long time and it barely has any lint built up in the machine. So it makes it a really nice thread to use and you can recognize it by its orange spool. Another kind of thread is a variegated thread. This thread is really fun. It comes dyed in several different colors all together and you can get several different kinds of variegated thread. I mean, really, there's endless possibilities. This can be really fun to do your quilting on top of your quilt, so you have a different three-dimensional kind of design going on with the thread. The next thread is an embroidery thread. Embroidery thread is a lot thinner, a lot more fragile. It's not something you would want to use with your piecing. It's definitely just for embroidery. It usually has a shine to it. It has a lesser weight to the thread. Now, what do I mean by weight? So you'll see on some threads that there's a number and then WT, which stands for weight. And the higher the thread weight, the thinner the thread is. The lower the thread count or the weight, the thicker the thread is. So like this thread, for example, is a hand piecing type of thread that Violet Craft supplies, and we have this in our store. It is a 12 weight thread and it is really thick, so it holds those projects together really well when you're making like cushions or things like that that might have a lot of people sitting on them, or you can do your hand quilting with it if you want those stitches to really show through. It's almost like embroidery floss, but it's so thick. Embroidery thread has a weight count of close to 100 usually. It's very thin and delicate, so it's great for the machine to be able to pile it up together because it won't be too thick to start. Your normal quilting cotton thread is usually around a 50 weight, which is a good mid-range weight for your piecing together. You can also use this for your quilting on top of your quilts once you're finished. In fact, I like to use Superior's So Fine thread, and it's a 50 weight in my long arm, and of course I have to buy it in a cone because I do a lot of quilting that way. But the bobbin actually is a lesser weight because I want the thread not to show up as heavily on the bottom as I do on the top. So this is a 60 weight, so it's just a little bit different, but it goes together perfectly and it's very nice once it's quilted. Another fun thread is an invisible thread. I use this when I'm doing machine applique, and this you can just applique it on and you barely see any of the stitches. It's so nice. It does take a little patience to use. It can be a little bit of a booger. You want to increase your tension, probably up to a 5.5 or 6 tension, depending on your machine. Thank you for watching. I hope this tutorial was helpful for you. If you found this video helpful, please share it with your friends and leave me a comment below with what kind of thread you're using right now and how you like it. In the next video, we're going to talk about how to nest your seams when you're making a quilt block. We'll see you then.